Monday. It's very cold here. I spent the night at the hotel, and I noticed that this camera was not recording the audio properly when I was driving, but it sounded okay when I was parked. So now we're testing it with the heater. If you hear the background sound, that's my bunk heater, because the truck is very cold. In the morning it was -5, or what is it, like 22F or 20F, and then during the day it was 0 or 32F. You know, that's why I'm wearing my hat. And the freight broker didn't want me to drive over the weekend. He says wait. So I'm sitting here in my yard with this forklift, just thinking about, you know, different options. And this morning I was checking all these websites, and you know, I talked to one of my fans who works for a crane company, and to see what my options are, you know. And I'm still pretty far from Quebec, right? I'm still like 6 hours, and to move a load like this from here, let's say if the guy finds another truck and we transfer the load, this crane company guy says that it can be relatively inexpensive if you can do it inside the shop using the overhead crane, because you don't have to set it up, you don't have to drive anywhere. You know, basically you just lift and put down. Like one truck, like let's say me, I back under it, they pick it up, I move out, the other guy comes in, they put it down. That's it. He says that's the cheapest for a crane. Again, no setup, right? It's already there. They have 2 cranes with pretty high capacity, and he said the only problem can be the overhead. And so they can take it off or they can move it to different truck, but the problem is that it's still, from here it's 400 miles to the consignee in Quebec. And so if this guy sends a truck with proper, you know, like a Jeep, and he's saying that you probably need like a bigger tires. Like a lot of guys in Quebec and Eastern Canada, they run 305 tires on the trailer and the truck, not 275, not 295, but 305. So they're wider, and you get more weight credit for them, you know. And so unloading here with a crane, if this friend agrees to help, can be easy, but then trucking will be very expensive, you know, because for 400 miles they can charge as much as what they charge me to bring it from Mississippi, believe it or not, because you need a special setup. You need a minimum of 9 axles with big tires, you know, Jeep, you know, stuff like that. And so the other option is for me to go to the Quebec, right? So it's 340 miles to the Quebec line, and then they only have to find a local truck to move it 60 miles, right? That's the distance from the Ontario-Quebec line to the consignee inside Quebec. It's 60 miles. Well, 65 miles. So it's much cheaper to find a truck over there, because they don't have to drive as far. It's, let's say he finds a Quebec carrier, right? The guy can, and he's from, let's say the guy is from Montreal, from the same location, they drive 60 miles, they pick it up, they drive 60 miles. But then, so trucking will be cheap over there, but the crane will be expensive, you know. So unless he can find some kind of a shop over there at the, you know, near the Quebec border, where some kind of shop that has overhead crane. So basically it's not easy, you know, because this thing is 80,000 pounds, right? And another option for me, of course, would be to rent a Jeep. My gooseneck now can support a single axle Jeep, but there's not enough space for a tandem axle Jeep. But single axle Jeep should be okay, but then I'm running into an issue on the trailer as well. because they only give me 56,000 pounds for the trailer with this 4 axles in Quebec instead of 62 that I have now. So basically you need 4-axle trailer but with big tires, like 3 or 5 tires, you know, then they give you more rating. So mine's at 275. So I don't know what they're gonna do, but I definitely don't want to sit with this load, you know, too long, because I received this dispatch, like everything was booked and the rate confirmation was signed on March 28th, right, which was Wednesday. And then because of the Easter and because I was 800 miles away, I started driving. I was there Friday, not too far. Remember I shut down in at that Love's in Alabama, like an hour away, and I had to sit there over the weekend, right? And then I picked it up Monday. I brought it over here Friday, and so this Wednesday, like today's Saturday, so Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday it'll be 2 weeks that I've been, you know, under this load. Like not per se like with the load on the deck, but that I've been working to move this load. I was deadheading, I was waiting over there, I was driving back, I was waiting for permits. So 2 weeks, you know, so which is a good thing. I asked for a lot of money because, see, that's a typical heavy haul, you know, you have to wait. There's all this legislation, paperwork, and then this tiny little detail that we left out, both the broker and me, the Quebec spring weight restrictions, and that's the biggest obstacle yet. And so, but I feel positive that we'll come up with a solution, because you know, we're trying to help each other and our goals are the same, to get rid of this forklift, because the broker will not be paid until the forklift is delivered, right? I will not be paid until the forklift is delivered. And so, you know, we're basically on the same side. We just have to find a way to make it work. And I said I'm gonna cooperate with you, whatever you want me to do. You want me to go to Ottawa, you want me to go to Cornwall, Ontario, you know, next to Quebec. So basically with my setup I can go anywhere but inside Quebec. So I can park at the Quebec line, right at the sign that says Bonjour Quebec, and wait for them there. I don't care, because that's what I signed up for, right? I signed up to pick up this load in Mississippi and deliver in Quebec. So I will do my best to somehow help them get this forklift in the consignee's hands. So this will be interesting, you know, what's gonna happen next week. I don't know, like I have not been in contact with the broker today, because I guess, you know, it's the weekend, they don't work. But let's see what happens Monday. So just wanted to let you guys know. So that's kind of like stuff that you gotta deal with. And once again, for somebody who missed previous videos, yeah, this gooseneck extension, it's 23 inches. So now my gooseneck, which was 102, now became 125, and because of this I can move the weight on the trailer, because now the trailer is further away from the truck, and I can, by moving the kingpin forward, I can move more weight from the drives on the steer. So this is like when I did that previous video, I was explaining how this little flip box helped me get rid of 5,000 pounds on the drives. And so out of 5,000 pounds that disappeared, 3,000 went on the steers and 2,000 went on the trailer, you know, because I had the old ticket, I had the new ticket. So it's a great like I don't have any buyer's remorse, even though this thing is like 3,200 US, that little piece of metal, but it's very useful for, you know, heavy loads, when you want to comply with you know, local regulations and not be overloaded on any of the axles. So this gives you the flexibility, basically, to be compliant, you know. I love this, but unfortunately it's not too big. There's not enough space between the truck's frame and the trailer for a tandem Jeep. So it will work for a single Jeep, but I don't really need one unless I want to go into Alberta. I don't know, because yeah, Western Canada, if I get my hands on a single axle Jeep, this flip box will basically can give me another advantage of doing that. I can deliver 7 axle loads, because they don't count 4 axles on the trailer, they only allow 3. But now pusher does not count. But now I have, you know, steer, drives, and let's say single axle Jeep, so I have 4. So basically 7 axles. So you can do, you know, pretty much the same load as I'm doing now, like probably around 80,000 pounds, you know. So we'll see what happens in the future. But for now, yeah, the goal number 1 is get rid of this forklift and get paid. So have a good weekend, boys and girls. Captain SERGEI.